What's up, fight fans? Welcome to Sportskeeda MMA's daily news roundup for March 4th. The UFC 272 press conference wrapped up last night, and here we have some of the best exchanges from both main event fighters. Things got immediately heated as expected, and the personal history between Covington and Masvidal was used as live ammo. During an already explosive exchange, Masvidal alluded to the fact that Covington used to live at his house, and Covington fired back. "I lived in Maritza's house. I didn't live in your house, Maritza paid the bills. You forget about your children, you deadbeat dad? You're a deadbeat. Maritza paid for our Hey, you still have your Obama phone?" Covington then hilariously added, "You're all talk, no walk. You're a phony Montana. This ain't Tony Montana, this is phony Montana." John Morgan of MMA Junkie then asked Jorge Masvidal if Colby plans to make this a wrestling-only fight, and Masvidal had this to say, "It's gonna be him sniffing my the whole time, like he does in every fight. You're still sniffing for a living." While Masvidal was saying that, Covington was spewing his own venom. "I'll do whatever the I want to this journeyman. Double-digit losses on his bum record. Hey, fact for all you math wizards out there. If this guy won his next 45 fights in a row, he still wouldn't have a better winning percentage than me. You're fucking irrelevant. You should be thanking me I gave you this main event, you fucking ungrateful coward." Masvidal was then asked if any part of him was sad that his relationship with Covington took the turn that it did, and he had this to say, "He's a chameleon. He's fake as and I fell for it just like John Jones did when he stole John Jones's clothes. Just like Tyron Woodley did, and now Woodley can't stand his ass either. So it's a track record that you have, buddy, that I don't." This rivalry is sure to be punctuated by skilled violence on Saturday night, and the whole MMA world waits on the edge of their seats. Do you think Masvidal or Covington said anything out of line, or is it all fair game? Nate Diaz is keeping a close eye on UFC 272's main event, and has chimed in on Twitter a few times. Diaz's sideline trolling has been a staple tactic recently, and had this to say, "This fight already better than any of Usman's lame-ass fights." The dig at Usman was followed with a couple of bitch slaps to Covington and Masvidal, and maybe the whole welterweight division. All these are fragile as though. To be fair, this is coming from a man who sacrificed a weak chin for some extra scar tissue. Nate Diaz comes from a dying breed of ultra-durable fighters. He also comes from a dying breed of shit-talkers. Just last year, Diaz campaigned for a fight against Usman. Diaz started the exchange with this tweet that says, "Who dis guy fighting next? Someone he already KO'd." Usman fired back and dared him to try and set up that fight. "I see you, 209. If you really want this 187, then call your boy Hunter." Diaz then hilariously replied with a picture of a bloodied Covington and said, "You're locked down. You do what you're told to do like a good champion." Do you think Nate Diaz could negotiate a title fight with Usman just by using Twitter? It's no secret that Dana White becomes Dana Pink whenever the topic of fighter pay comes up, and on a recent appearance on The Herd, it was no different. While discussing the loud people in the MMA world giving him pushback on the issue of fighter pay, White had this to say, "Do you hear any of the fighters coming out and saying what they're getting paid? They don't do it. The fighters don't want people to know what they're being paid either, and I don't let any outside noise, or whatever you want to call it, tell me how to run my business." White then added that he's been around for a long time and doesn't need to change his winning formula. "I've been doing this for 20 years. I've been doing a good job. If you don't like the way I'm running my business, then start your own and pay anybody whatever you want to. There's been plenty of guys that have done it. Smart guys. Guys who've run multi-billion-dollar businesses have tried to do this. Get in here. You think you're smart? Get in here and figure it out. I'm not going to listen to some media guy telling me how to run my business, and I'm definitely not listening to idiots on Twitter." Does Dana White have a point from a business perspective? At what point should business decisions be better for the fighters instead of better for the business? Michael Chandler recently spoke about his upcoming opponent Tony Ferguson on an episode of Food Truck Diaries. Naturally, the conversation included how Chandler would fare against the likes of Conor McGregor and Ferguson, and Chandler even presented his opinion that Ferguson might be a more difficult opponent than McGregor. Chandler had this to say, "I think Tony might be a tougher puzzle to solve just because inside he's less predictable. Not that Conor is predictable, he's a phenomenal athlete, but what you see with Conor is a lot of times what you get, and it's a hard puzzle to solve. But once you do, it's much more predictable. I think Tony just brings that little bit of uncertainty at all times. Plus, his cardio never slows down." While Chandler acknowledges the gravity of a McGregor matchup, Ferguson is just a different animal, and he added this, "You know, it excites me too because those are the kind of fights, and I hate to sit here and act like fighting Conor wouldn't make me wake up early or keep me up at night. Obviously that would, but there's something about the craziness of Tony." Do you think Michael Chandler will be able to deal with Ferguson's infinite gas tank? And last but not least, Khamzat Chimaev has landed in Las Vegas and tweeted at upcoming opponent Gilbert Burns with an ominous warning. The tweet shows a picture of a sign that says "Welcome to Las Vegas," and Chimaev said, "You are in big trouble now," and tagged Burns. While there are no confirmations as to what Chimaev is doing in Las Vegas, fans could probably put 2 and 2 together. His fight with Burns is in a month, and Chimaev is probably going to make use of the UFC's state-of-the-art PI. Recently, it was rumored that Chimaev had been experiencing some visa issues that threatened the fight, but it seems that he's with Uncle Dana right now, and there's no need to worry. Many fans are speculating as to how this fight with possible title implications would go, especially if Chimaev dominates the number 2 ranked Burns in his typical fashion. He has yet to face resistance from someone with elite-level jiu-jitsu, and Burns might be the man to finally put up a fight. But fans are still wondering if Chimaev is the real deal, and while Khabib already confirmed that a year ago, some are not convinced that his strength of schedule is impressive. That about does it for Sportskeeda MMA's most exciting news from the MMA world. Here is one final question for you fight fans. Do you think Khamzat Chimaev gets a title shot if he finishes Gilbert Burns? Do you think he could get the winner of Covington and Masvidal? Don't forget to subscribe and follow Sportskeeda MMA on all our social media platforms. I'm Alex, and as always, thanks for tuning in.